Welcome to this week's episode of Talk of the Town. My name's Philip Swicegood, and I am back with my good friend and co-host, Dr. Kenneth Harper from Vein Specialist of the South, and we have a fantastic conversation to share with you today. But first, if you have questions about your veins, maybe you saw a new vein pop up and you just want to get some answers, give my friends at Vein Specialist of the South a call, and they will get you the answers that you deserve. We also want to thank this week's presenting sponsor, which is Piedmont Macon. Piedmont provides comprehensive, quality healthcare for all of your needs here in Central Georgia. Thanks so much to Piedmont for making a show like this possible and for continuing to invest in Central Georgia. Now, if you're just waking up on Saturday morning, say it's 6:30 a.m., you've poured that first cup of coffee and you're wondering, what in the world is Talk of the Town? Talk of the Town is a show that Dr. Harper and I do here on 13 WMAZ, where we interview people around town that have stories that you need to know about. This week is no exception because we are here with Paul and Alice Williams, who are world famous pet groomers, but they also have the mascot for the Cherry Blossom Festival, and that mascot is here with us today. Paul, this is the very first dog we have ever had on Talk of the Town. It's kind of a big deal. But not only that, it's also the first pink dog that we've had on Talk of the Town and that most people have probably even seen. Paul and Alice, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
So,
Yeah.
so Paul, I've got to ask you, you said something earlier and I've been wondering what the full story is here. You said you have the most famous left knee in all of Central Georgia. What in the world is that about?
Because of the thousands of pictures that's been taken of the pink poodles over the last 30 years. That's the short answer. Long answer is we're native Maconites, born and raised, and we started doing it to support the community. Well, we met 1966 at the local skating rink. I joined the Marine Corps, married her, wound up buying a poodle, who then turned into us being in the grooming business. And then the pink dog came along. So, and there's a lot more than that story.
So, how many years have you guys been married?
June will be 57.
57 years. Does having a pink poodle help your marriage be successful?
Well, I think anything that keeps you bonded,
Yeah.
we tell folks we do her because of the joy and smile she brings. So she is, I tell folks she's a daddy's girl, but if I change my tone, she goes to Alice.
So, okay. Does she have a special place she sleeps at night?
Anywhere she wants. But yeah,
She takes up a lot of room.
yeah, she
does.
yeah, we have a king size bed. Let's put it that way.
There you go. There you go.
So, you had a career before opening your grooming, pet grooming store, and you have an actual physical. Tell us about your story and how you kind of got into doing
All
this
right.
together.
Right. Well, again, we met a couple named Joan and Charlie while I was in the Marine Corps. They had a little white poodle named Buffy, and we would go visit Buffy, but we had to put up with Joan and Charlie. We liked it so well that we went out and bought our own, which we couldn't afford because I made $190 a month as a private in the Marine Corps. So I went off base, got a part-time job with a mom and pop grooming shop, learning to groom dogs. Went home, taught Alice what they taught me, came back in 1972, put the key in the door, and became dog groomers.
And the rest is history,
I
right?
practiced on our 3 toy poodles at the time.
Yeah.
That's how I learned.
That was her apprenticeship.
Do you only do poodles?
No, we do other dogs, but now we don't do the toy size dogs. Like 10 pounds, 12 pounds.
Okay.
Now, but we've groomed everything from skunks to ferrets to
Oh,
over the years. Big
I
things.
I thought you said skunks.
I think I did
yeah.
too.
Did you say
They were a
skunks?
big deal years back. Everybody had to have a skunk.
Really?
But that now we are very selective. We take a limited number of Pacific dog breeds now. Yeah. But poodles are still our favorite because they know that they're pretty.
Okay, you mentioned about that she's the fourth generation of dog mascot for Cherry Blossom Festival. What do you know about? Tell us about the other ones. What their names were.
All right. Casper was the first.
What year was that?
Casper was mid-90s. We actually did him for a little booth that we had at a local youth fair because our booth that we were representing was a little boring. So we said, well, if we dye the poodle, they'll stop to talk with it or us, and then we can tell them what we do. Well, the cotton candy booth was 2 doors down, so all the kids thought she smelled like cotton candy. So that happened to be that same weekend was Cherry Blossom.
Yeah.
So we said, well, we'll go to Cherry Blossom because there was a Teddy before there was a Casper. And Teddy had moved to Peach County, so that left an opening. So we would go.
Yeah, Teddy got another job.
Teddy got another job. And so we then in turn just started doing it. And one of the directors asked us one year, said, when you first started, did you ever realize that it would become so branded? And I said, no, we just did it for the community, for involvement, for fun.
You know, I think that Cherry is probably the second most famous dog mascot in the world. What do you think the first one is?
As a Tennessee football fan, that kills me when you say something like that.
I think it's Uga. Don't you think it's Uga?
Uga would have to be number one. We'll take a number 2 seat.
Maybe
Cherry's fantastic. We can fight it out for number 2.
Okay.
There we go. There we go. All right, Paul. So the question that I've got to ask you after we come back from the commercial break is how in the world do you get Cherry to be this exact color? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
As a claims adjuster, sitting at my desk every day took a toll on my legs. Despite living a healthy lifestyle and working out regularly, my legs were always sore. Not sure what was causing my leg pain, I decided to see Dr. Harper and the vein specialist of the South team. I was surprised when they told me that my vein problems were likely causing my pain. Initially, I was hesitant to have anything done, but when they recommended a simple walk-in, walk-out procedure, I was thrilled. With little downtime, I was back at work and the gym, amazed at how good my legs could look and feel. Thanks to the vein specialist of the South team, my legs feel great, and I am proud to show off the results of my hard work in the gym. If you're ready to enjoy better looking and better feeling legs, call Vein Specialist of the South today to begin your journey for better veins for life. Call now at 478-216-1246 or visit their website at veinspecialist.com. It's the best thing you'll do for your legs.
Piedmont Macon is proud to be your partner in healthcare, in business and in the community. From our 2 convenient hospitals and ERs, our cardiac program, women's services, and urgent care centers, we provide Middle Georgians with comprehensive care close to home. Our goal is to empower you through great care that's simplified, unified, and easier than ever to access. Our mission is to make a positive difference in every life we touch. We want to be part of your family and your life and to make our community a better place to live.
At Rafield Tire Master, when we say we're your auto service headquarters, it means our team provides complete auto care, including brake jobs, engine diagnostics, and alignments. It also means we stand behind our work to ensure you drive with confidence. So for all your auto service needs, visit one of our 6 Rafield Tire Master locations in Macon or Warner Robins and log on to RafieldTire.com, because at Rafield Tire, auto service is our business.
This is the Medical Minute, where we ask Dr. Harper your vein-related questions. Dr. Harper, the question this week is, why is sitting bad for my vein health?
Great question. And it's a question people often ask us about. When you're thinking about vein health, one of the factors that is impacted is the type of sedentary lifestyle. So if you're sitting a lot, you're not pumping the calf muscles and moving the venous blood back toward the heart as it should be, or even people who stand all the time at work have similar issues. So you might ask, well, what do I do about it? I have a job, I sit most of the time. One thing I would advise is get some graduated compression socks. They could just be knee highs. Do some calf raises, when you're sitting, this kind of number. And if you get a break, get up and walk around. And so all those factors can improve your vein health and preserve healthy veins.
All right, so if you have more questions for our friends at Vein Specialist of the South, give them a call today. Welcome back to Talk of the Town, where we are here with Paul and Alice Williams, who have the unofficial mascot for the Macon Cherry Blossom Festival. Paul, I've got to ask you, this is the question that everybody wants to know. How in the world do you get a dog to be that color?
Very carefully. That's our go-to answer. But it's about a 5-hour process using a specific product that we found throughout our searches. Back years ago, we had to wind up using natural commercial food coloring because it was the only available product. Then along came the punk rockers with all the wild colored hair. So we did our research and found that it was safe for the animals.
So we have punk rock to thank for the cherry blossoms.
Exactly.
unofficial-
And now, years later, there's actually a product that is made specifically for this because of the advent of what's called creative dog grooming.
Oh,
People should look that up on the YouTube because it's
Were
amazing.
you one of the founders of the organization?
Oh no, we just like I say,
Well, you should have been.
we're plain Jane. We stay with the pink. You said about the special color. No, one year she'll be lighter, the next year she'll be darker, the next year she'll be perfect, the next year because of the coat condition or the moon or whatever makes all of that,
How long will she stay that color roughly?
Well, everybody asks, do we do it year round? Well, being dog groomers, we tell folks that she's the last one on the grooming table because we have to make a living. But with this new product, it'll last 40 washings. That is, we wash her about every 10 days. So do the
It
math.
lightens up every time we wash.
Yeah.
it.
Really?
She'll be
Gotcha.
perfect
Gotcha.
color
I just-
by the time cherry blossom
So you're prepared for that. You kind
Right.
of timed it out.
time it out. Yeah.
So it's just how often do you brush Cherry, and she doesn't get tangled up? I mean, who does
She
that?
does get tangled up.
Yeah.
We brush her every day and comb her. Yeah,
Yes,
it's fine.
and she likes it.
Oh yeah, she just sits there and lets me do it.
You give her a treat.
Yeah, sure.
Poodles don't shed, but they do lose their hair. So you have to
Right.
brush them correctly, and you have to brush them at least daily.
And she has a show coat,
And she's out of a show home, so does have an awesome coat.
Oh,
which is thicker.
All right, so let me ask you this. If there's someone out there that is thinking about getting a dog, say they have a family and they're trying to figure out what kind of dog they should get, what's the case for them to get a poodle like this?
Non-shedding, highly intelligent, very social, and super smart. She has to be well trained.
so we actually have Dr. Sean Murphy that works in our office. He's Australian Labradoodle.
All right.
Yes, and he comes to work, and
We
patients,
love the
patients
doodles.
love them.
Yep. Love the
And,
doodles.
yeah. So Cherry seems to be very well behaved. Did y'all train her, or did you actually have a little help with that?
Well, we actually trained her. We had some professional help with her sibling before her, Blossom, which I took some of those and 50 years of handling dogs myself. And we trained her. We socialized her from the time we got her at 3 months old. She went to her first functions when she was 9 months old. And then, of course, she lost a year with our 2020 situation. So we were afraid that then all of that, but she stepped right back in place and has done so exceptional. But again, you mentioned the word dog a while ago. We forgot to tell her she's a dog.
Yeah.
She's a poodle.
I asked him when they came, did she speak any language? And the answer was,
Well, she knows a lot of words. She knows go. She knows outside. She knows ride. She knows, yeah. So they're very smart.
does she bark?
She's not a barker. She will alarm you. Now, if
Somebody comes around.
if someone comes to she at the yard this morning,
She's not
someone
crazy.
walking down the road, first thing, and of course here she is, hot pink guard dog.
Oh, they were really afraid, weren't
They were really afraid.
So I've got to ask, do you guys just get stopped everywhere whenever you have Cherry out? Like, are you guys even able to go grocery shopping or go to Bass Pro Shops or do something like that?
Well, we tell folks we plan an hour trip an hour ahead because we've actually been the horn honked at us for us to pull over for someone to get their picture with her.
That's great.
So yeah, she is quite a traffic stopper.
And they'll be hollering down the street, beep poodle, beep poodle.
Yeah, as you go through when they have the parade, you can as we come
Oh,
by,
the kids love it.
well, you can hear the pink poodle, pink poodle, pink poodle.
Tell us, what are the hours that she'll be at the Cherry Blossom Festival? When will she be there, and when can people see her?
All right, great question. We do as many events as we possibly can. We are getting older, so we get tired, but she doesn't. So we have to align ourselves around our schedule and hers. She'll definitely always does the ribbon cutting. She does the parade. She does Third Street Park. She's done the fashion show in the past when that was one of the big deals. I'm just trying to think of all the things she does do.
Does she dance at the ball? Again, she wears tuxedo.
Can't you? She'd have to have her tutu. Yeah, but we try to make as many of the public outings that we can, and we limit her to about an hour or two out, so it doesn't stress her out.
And we went to the tea party.
Oh yeah, the tea party where they do the hats. All the ladies do a cherry blossom hat.
She even had her hat.
And she had her own hat. Yeah, and she actually placed second one year.
I think I interrupted you when you tell us about all the other pink poodles, dog mascots. Tell us about the other ones.
All right. Well, we mentioned Casper. Then we wound up with a Lacey, and Lacey was just outstanding. And then we wound up with Blossom. Blossom came from Arcadia, Florida, from a show home, well-bred, great genetics, temperament, disposition. He even has some service dog background in that line. And when we were ready for another one, we went back and this is Blossom's great niece. We like that temperament disposition so well. So between Casper, Lacey, Blossom, and now Cherry and we did have one before that was called Spider-Man, but he was black, so he didn't get involved in all of this.
Right. So there's another pink poodle associated with the festival. So share about that, because we want to make sure that they get their
Certainly.
recognition, right?
Petals is the most wonderful thing. Petals is the 8-foot character that goes around and meets all the children. And my story that was told to me was that they did a little survey of the children to draw or tell what was the most impactful thing that they remember from the Cherry Blossom Festival. And all the children said the pink poodle. So along came Petals to represent the Cherry Blossom Festival.
So that's cool.
So that's neat. So that's where it actually came from. Okay.
That's what I was told.
So Cherry is actually the Cherry Blossom dog mascot, right?
Well,
Or what
exactly. In the parade last year, we were listening as it was going on, and they had to introduce, because we'll bring up the rear. Petals and Cherry are the last thing. And the announcer says, and there's Petals, the pink poodle, and Cherry, the pink dog. And I said, okay.
Close enough.
Close enough.
So at Cherry Blossom Festival, there are other organizations that have festivals around the country that come. And I think sometimes we have some of our representatives go to those. Do y'all ever take Cherry on the road to some of the other festivals?
We've not, but we've met some of the dignitaries and the queens and the princes that came from some of the sister cities. I think they do. They visit and exchange ideas and what have you. And so it's always an honor for us to represent Macon and say, this is what.
So if you're in town for Cherry Blossom and you're one of those entities, like from Minnesota or whatever, they might want to come visit for your festival. What about that?
That would be a wonderful invite. Yes. Maybe a little cold.
Maybe a little bit.
She wouldn't have no problem with it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, she'd be the warmest one out of all of us.
Right.
Tell us, out of everyone that she's met, is there anyone that stands out? Is there anyone that comes to mind? Any famous people that would be a good story?
Well, maybe not famous, but one of my favorite memories is back when cell phones became an item. That is a thing. There was a little Taiwanese group of dancers in the preteen, early teen, and they were taking pictures of each other, taking pictures with the pink poodle. It was the front page news story on the local paper the next morning.
Really?
Which made us feel so proud of what we were doing for our community. The other, she met a visually impaired young lady, and the emotions that were shared there were just off the chain.
Mhm.
And we met Barbara Eden of I Dream of Jeannie, and she was sort of impressed with our puppies. And I think you remember
Yeah,
how
well, I remembered, I like the cherry blossom parade, like floats and everything. And then what I liked the best was the Budweiser horses with the hitch.
Yeah.
And then she's sitting there, and we're pretty close to him, and she's sitting and she's just looking at him like,
figure
what are
out
those big
what are
things?
those big things.
She was so curious about them,
She probably wanted to get up there and ride with them, didn't she?
They
right? Because they have the down.
have the Dalmatian.
So
Paul and Alice, let me ask you this. So you guys told us that you, on June 15th, I believe, you'll be married 57 years.
57
Okay.
years.
There's a lot of people out there like me that have been married a single digit number of years. I've been married 9 years. What's the secret to 57 healthy, wonderful years of marriage?
Well, we've pretty well come up that it's honesty, communication, and just never going to bed angry. I had a
Worked
friend.
so long that we don't have time to mess about.
We had a friend once that I loaned some money to, and he asked, "Don't tell Alice." And I said, "You've got to be kidding me. I tell Alice everything. She's the only one I can share everything with." So, that's important, I think, in any relationship, is honesty.
thanks for that great advice. So does she know if she's pink, or what do you tell people when they ask about that?
Good question. We tell folks she knows she's special. I've been told that they're colorblind, but she knows when we spend that extra time and energy and do her polish and her bows and do that extra. She looked at the door this morning every time we went by it, that she knew she was going to get to go somewhere. So pink, not no, but special, very.
Does she just look at herself in the mirror like I would imagine, just staring at herself,
She has done that at some of the stores have the floor length mirrors.
Yeah.
And she watches TV.
She loves to watch
She says,
YouTube.
What's her favorite show?
The dog trainers.
Okay. Maybe she's picking up a little of that.
And she remembers her breeder's voice because she has a small YouTube channel.
Really?
Yeah, we've tried to start a little YouTube channel. So
she's picked up on that.
yeah, she hears that voice that she heard when she was a tiny
Do
puppy.
you have a YouTube channel?
We have one called Old Fuddy Duddy Couples. We want to be an influencer.
So on YouTube,
On YouTube, you can see the dog and you see us and
Old Funny.
Old Fuddy Duddy Couple.
Okay.
Funny Duddy
All right, you should see a spike in people that are watching the show after they see this on Channel 13.
So, Paul and Alice, one of the reasons that Dr. Harper and I do Talk of the Town is because we are passionate about Middle Georgia. We're both from here. I tell people that we live, work, and worship here in Middle Georgia. And so this is home for us. And we believe that actually doing Talk of the Town and sharing important stories like this is one of the ways that we can help the community move forward and highlight some of the more important voices in the community to people who might not be familiar with these sorts of stories. And so whenever you guys were talking about your passion for Middle Georgia, I just got to ask, where does that come from? And talk about why Middle Georgia is so important to you.
Well, being born and raised, we're Southside kids. I was born on Hightower Road, which was the country when we moved there, when I remember. And then the Westgate Mall came along. She was born in South Bibb County. We met at our local roller skating rink. That was back in the day when downtown Macon was the hub. And as it sprawled and got bigger, we looked for Macon to, when I was in the Marine Corps, the DI screamed at me one morning and said, "Where are you from, boy?" And I said, "Macon, Georgia, sir." He said, "That's a good place to be from. Far, far away from."
Oh, no.
I was very, very, very glad to get back home. And Macon's been very, very good to us. Macon, even with its warts, is the best city. And we sit around sometimes and talk about where would we move if money wasn't an object? And there's no other place. We can't come up with anything that would have been as good to us and our family and our friends in our community. So anything we can do, in any word, someone said, "Well, you're a great ambassador." I said, "No, I'm just a good old country boy that tries to do what Mama told me to do.
I know girls don't like to talk about how old they are, but people probably do want to know how old Cherry is. You think she would mind if you told
No,
us?
actually, she's really proud. She was born July 4th, 2018. So this July, she'll be 7. And she was born July 4th, and all of the litter was named patriotic names. They were named Patriot and Liberty. Her name was Freedom. So, yeah.
Do y'all have any estimate of how many photographs have been taken of Cherry?
Absolutely have no clue. Has to be hundreds of thousands. She's been featured on some other people's websites, which of course get shared to other people. I looked on mine the other day, and I think our views are something like 2 million views on different pictures that we've posted.
So what's your social media presence where people could go and see some of those photos?
Right. Well, I have one that's just Paul Benny Williams, and then we have Cherry Blossom Pink Poodles. So we share a cross share on those.
Right.
So if you go to Cherry Blossom Pink Poodles, if you search that on Facebook,
Right,
you'll be able to see
it'll
more
pop
pictures
up.
of Cherry.
Yeah. Right.
That's fantastic. And as we're wrapping up here, remind us where Cherry will be again at some of these main events for the Cherry Blossom Festival.
All right, for sure, she'll be at the ribbon cutting. Sometimes it's indoors, sometimes it's outdoors. She'll be at the parade. She'll be at 3rd Street Park for the ice cream and giveaways. She'll do some other functions as we're invited, and she'll do the dock diving Sunday morning because we still have to work on Saturday, but.
But she won't be docked up.
She won't be docked diving.
She won't be docked diving?
They did put her up there. The company put her up there as a promo just to take her picture. But but she'll be as many functions as we can possibly make, just to be out, among the. And we tell her she's making new friends.
That's fantastic. Paul, Alice, thank you guys so much for joining us. And we really appreciate, because Dr. Harper, in 5 years of Talk of the Town, this is the first dog we've ever had.
Right.
The first one. And we hope that it's not the last. We hope you guys will come back and join us again.
Thank you.
You know, I think today that maybe Talk of the Town should award Cherry like the best dog mascot in the whole United States.
The
Don't you
best
think?
dog mascot from Talk of the Town. That's right. I love it. I love
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
And thank you guys for joining us this week as well. And stay tuned for where me and Dr. Harper will show up next, because you never know where it might be.